She says,
her budget, what we got to start with and where we are, so we'll know all we need to do. Go ahead, Christine.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I apologize for running a little bit behind, but I wanted to, start by just kind of giving a recap. This printout is a really rough draft. What I did was I put in there a column that shows the audited balances for each month, at the end of June 30, 2020. So we have a little bit of information as to what the actual numbers were at the end of their audit for the June 30 fiscal year. It gives us comparison, to kind of help with. I left the original budget that had been adopted as it is. So there's gonna be a lot of potential amendments to this, because during the year, I have a list, and y'all have these. During the year, I believe there were some projects, some emergencies, some purchases and things that were not in the original budget. So your original budget and your proposed amended budget for 23-24 does not actually reflect these amendments that were adopted by the council. So, that is once I get finalized which departments that's going to affect, I will be adding those expenses to this budget. So keep that in mind. At the total, that is an additional $832,000 in cost, which is on the bottom of this list, that's gonna be added to the original budgeted numbers. This is not in the budgeted side. I didn't amend it. There's a column in the middle that is the actual as of March 31st. So that is all the activity that's been entered, by the city, financial department, checks, deposits, as of March. And then estimate remaining for June is a rough, calculation. Sometimes it's, prorated 9 months. What are the next 3 months gonna be? Some of it's looking at the ledger activity and seeing some corrections that need to be made. But I myself, I'll have to take responsibility for that column. I have not, gone through that with Shelley or the department heads. And that does need to be done to finalize, for the June 30, 24 activity. So that middle column, estimate remaining, is just my rough estimate of the next 3 months based on history. And then that gives us my projected actual. And then when it comes to the column that has proposed budget at the end, 24-25, I've made a few changes to that, but pretty much that's your 23-24. I noticed there were some line items that were, so large that I went ahead and amended that. But again, that too, I'll be going back to the department heads to finalize those numbers to see what those need to be. Because there's a lot of, capital projects that may need to be included, purchases, as well as grants or other funding that may not be reflected in this, first draft. Those are the things that definitely are going to change for 23-24 and 24-25. So with that being said, let's kind of go through the general fund, which is pretty big.
That's good, you can just go down, because the new, aldermen have never done this before, so.
I think we have gone through it one round with
Did
you.
we?
I
Y'all went through
believe
one?
so.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I get confused.
Give a little bit of slack that first year, because we didn't know, but second.
Oh, you ready to get them now, all right. Go get them, boy.
So definitely input, questions, things to look into. If those, I know you're just now looking at it, but if this comes up over the next few weeks, I guess there's gonna be there will need to probably another workshop to go over something that's a little bit more definite once we get final numbers. As far as the revenues, I'm gonna flip projecting an additional 300,000. So, yeah, that's your as of your lunch, I hear you, and then over there. So I am projecting right now about 1.8 million for the end of June 30th, 24, which is a good thing. So as you look on over that 24-25 budget, there's gonna be some adjustments possibly, to make, on that column. I think that, it's just, I'll go back and I'll look to see which line items are making that big of a difference. It's a pretty significant amount, and I'll have to go back through them. I did notice, if you look, insurance returns, that's about $100,000 that's been received as of 24. Now, if that's not something that's gonna happen, we're not gonna adjust for that, because obviously that's connected to some type of claim.
It's the workers' comp, the premium thing that they
Is it the
refund.
LWCC dividend?
The dividend.
Okay, and that, it's just up to them what they decide, so we'll probably, amend that. They always do something each year, it just, there's no control over how much it is, it's not connected to anything, it's just whatever that board decides to give. But I'll go back through some of these revenue line items to compare and see. I've noticed, I did adjust a few, like the, interest income, budgeted 48,000, it's coming in at 92,000, so I did project it, I changed the projection for it. But for right now, I've left that 24-25 budget there, just in case there's something in there that was one time.
Wow, that jumped quite a bit from what we budgeted.
It did, it definitely did, rates are higher.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah, made a big difference.
definitely has made a difference. I mean, so far you've received 69,000, and we're budgeted 48, so that's a good thing. Does anybody have any questions or see anything on the revenue side of it y'all want to talk about right now? If not, I'll keep on going, moving on down.
Hey, Kristen.
Sure.
I need a question about the Main Street donations.
Okay. What's that number, that account number?
On the first page about.
3230?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing we budgeted about $100, and so far what's been reported is about $32.55. Fundraisers, there's about $18.72, but what was your question? There's even some revenues from sale of bricks. $800. So far,
Main Street.
oh, that's not.
The brick farm.
They're around the clock now, I'm thinking, literally, sorry. But anyway, so far what we've got recorded is about $5,000 based on donations and, looks like donations for Christmas on Main. I don't see anything else so far.
Is that Christmas on Main, is that the same thing that goes with the Christmas extravaganza?
No,
It's a separate,
no, they don't have anything to do with
okay,
that.
that's for the, like, the carriage and the other stuff that they
There's,
do.
yeah, 3 separate entities doing Christmas things, Christmas extravaganza, the chamber, and then Main Street. And so Main Street does like the Christmas in the park, or this money, this income would have come from the Reindeer Run 5K. And then I assume the rest of the donations are the market vendor fees and the food trucks and all that.
Was that what the question was? Like,
Yeah, I
what's
just wanna
that
know the
money?
difference, like,
What's that money?
Yeah.
I was only expecting $100.
no, I think we have about 6,000, but I still have some to turn in. I project by the end of the year, we'll have about 6,000.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've got the number for the farmer's market overlay. I took one of the existing numbers and changed it to that.
So, I will say this, that 1.4 million is proposed for 24-25. That will change depending on whether there's grant funding. So the obviously, if that doesn't happen in 24-25, then that 1.4 million is gonna stack, like it is. Because there is when you look down at the grant, which starts around 3485, you see several grants for the airport, as well as, capital outlay grants, and, federal grants and state grants for the airport. There's about 80,000 there. And then, I think the biggest grants come from the airport when it comes to the general fund. So I'll have to mail those to you. Garbage collection revenue, it's, it's around, it's above what's budgeted, and as well as, yeah, that's at, 3540. At the end of 23, it was 422,000. And then, we're projecting it to be about 483. So that'll probably be
Well, that's a big jump too.
Yeah, I have a question. So we got the 10 cans from people using our vehicles. Do we have to list those somewhere, like in a monetary amount, like the brand, the cans?
You got that from
The people using our vehicles.
Okay, well, usually, if you can get a dollar amount on donations, and they provided that to y'all, we would
Yeah,
record.
they're about $600 a piece, the cans, times 10.
So that would be about $6,000.
I mean, that's what they're just plain line is for the garbage.
Hangers on the side.
Yeah, that would
Some
be.
cans of soda for the.
I can buy them. You never do.
It didn't cost her anything.
Okay. All right. Anytime y'all have questions, just if y'all want to skip, I'll skip on to that, I will. The general fund expenditures are always more than the revenues. And it receives money from other funds, mainly the sales tax fund. Assuming what's been budgeted is definitely gonna be transferred as well. So we budgeted about 2.2 million coming from the sales tax funds, 18,000 of that is from the cemetery fund. So I went ahead and, projected that to be the amount.
It's one of those things we need to raise the cost of those lots. It's awful deep, dirt, or church, what is it? $5, $15, Then they get one of them.
Which, I don't know when you buy one, or two seventy-five for a plot.
Sixth grade.
Eight.
No.
There's 8 grades,
That's $275.
That was last
Or
year.
each.
That was
Each
last
hole.
year.
Each hole.
and there's 8 holes in the plot.
Marking that so I can make sure there's not some equipment that was missing with this year. So we don't have anything budgeted and.
But I know right now it's $275, which is fine.
Okay. Mayor and alderman department, budgeted 141,500. I'm projecting about 139,000. Good job, Mayor. Coming in under budget.
Yeah.
The administration department has some collect expenses in it that, it's kind of a catch-all sometimes, and so I'm having to kind of clean that up a little bit. Try to do that. Budgeted about $487,980. As of March, they have recorded they spent $550,000. Projecting to be at 638 by the end of the year. There's a lot of that increase in that cost is from capital outlay for the buildings. There was
upkeep of the building and they'd rather us
We
keep
said we
it.
could drop the insurance, they take,
They want
they
us to.
raised Cain that night, cause they wanted everything done, and now we've done it.
Right.
They still don't want it. With the roof fix.
I mean, I keep telling them, you know, it's ready, come sign it, you know, we're ready to go. And they just don't show up.
All the inside.
That's a good sign that they don't want it.
Wow. I'll ask Michael again, you know, what's the holdup? make the same thing.
He's gonna make the same as what John Ware made.
But Ware's had Carl out there and two other adults. And I know for the last several weeks, Ware and the other one have been in Lakeside practicing football. Several nights, Carla's been out there by herself. This is not safe.
Carla's really the workhorse now.
Right, she needs to be right under the director, that, two of them can do this job.
And that's what.
But we need to make it a requirement that if there's an activity on out here, you be here.
That's why.
They don't have a calendar?
Huh?
They don't have a
Yeah,
calendar?
but I mean,
I mean, I'm
Ware's
just-
had the job and just delegated. That ain't right.
This guy will be out
He will, he
every
will.
day, all day.
He's retired, he's, so that's good. He knows the games and everything. I think
30,000 shy of their projection, of their budget. And I'm projecting another 600,000, so by the end of the year, I'm hopeful that the revenues will be about 2.8 million. The, water revenue specifically, water sales, budgeted 1,195,000. As of March, it's 1,174,000. And at the end of the year, we're expecting it to be about 1.4 million. So definitely the water revenues are up, which is good for the costs that the water system incurs.
And that's not for a whole year, I mean, that's,
Right.
that increase happened about half that.
And about October is when we actually put it in the,
So that actually basically is half a year, that's pretty good. It gets us where we need to be, to keep us out of trouble.
And then on the, sewer charging is right above that on line 3590. We had budgeted about 850,000, and I'm projecting about 851,000. So we're right there on the sewer.
we didn't raise the sewer.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's right where it's supposed to be.
My question is, I'm wondering whether we
Yeah.
look at that the next go round because of all the expense we've
Sure.
had, a lot of this, you know, with sewer.
Future things we're looking
A lot
to.
more on the future
Yeah.
budget.
I'm getting some interest already in the garbage. I got an email today from
Good.
Waste Pro. Want a
Okay.
copy of the contract.
Okay.
Okay. Now, as far as transfers in, the utility fund does receive transfers from the sales tax fund. I believe it's about 600,000 is what was budgeted. And, 200,000's been transferred, and I'm projected out the rest of that being transferred. Is it also transferred in this year? Okay, good. All right. As far as expenses, administrative expenses, there's not really a lot there because most of the expenses need to be broken out between 90 and 95, which is water and sewer. But there were some write-offs, that were recognized, I believe, in March, so I went ahead and moved those down to bad debt. And then in the water department, total water department budget expenses is 1.868 million. As of March, we're showing 1.476 million. I'm projecting another 1.1 million. So the estimated actual for the water system is about 2.14 million dollars. There's some capital outlay, of course, that's in that bottom section there, that we need to show the budget has either been amended for it, and give the total cost of those projects. I don't have anything in the next 3 months, all I have is as of March. And those last three, they're about 13,167, I think that's the water system. Says LCDG, so I'm assuming it's grant funds for that, but I'll have to look at that. Let's see. So that expense is actually gonna go up, the budget expenses will be amended to reflect those costs. The sewer fund, page 12, total expenses were budgeted to be about 1,025,000. As of March, it's been 1.258 million already. Projecting another 200,000 by the end of the year, it'll be 1.487 million. Again, there's some sewer lines, there's wastewater treatment plant expenses that have been incurred, almost 559,000 there. That was not budgeted, and I think some of that may be even covered by ARPA.
I'm holding on to the majority of the ARPA money for that, and Wayne McMahon has got us 1.2 million in
Cash,
cash money.
plus another 1.2.
That's great. So I'm gonna have to nail all that down to make sure that the cost and the money that he says he has. I'm assuming there's gonna be more expenses before the end of the year. That money that Wayne McMahon has cash, is it cash before the end of the year? Or is it-
Yes,
Before June 30 or after?
well, I think it's, whenever the governor signs it, he said we could get it the next day. And I don't know what day that's, it's gonna be.
When the legislature,
When the, okay. We'll put it when the governor signs.
yeah, then, I think it's a House Bill 2, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
As soon as he signs it, it's cash money.
Cash money. Okay. We'll have to nail that down before the next meeting. So for right now, that money comes through and it helps cover some of these costs, that's definitely gonna make that water fund
Oh, yeah.
look a lot better. Given the expenses that it's had to, cover for these emergencies or these sewer replacements or these street replacements that weren't budgeted originally. But there's a little bit of work to do on the water sewer because of those projects and funding that is gonna be available. It might end up looking a little bit better this year.
And we have got a little bit of DLA money in too. We've got like 48,000 that's
What
coming out.
what is the rent income on 3515? I know that shows all, yeah, it shows the rent income, it shows all the building, park building.
You're over in the community activity.
Yeah.
Where it can, that's okay. We can go to the next, is that, what page is that?
That's, 13.
Page 13. Okay. So this is Fund 80, Community Activity Fund, which shows all the rentals of the RV buildings, the CAC building, the Civic Center, the RV park. And so, now the one thing that's in there is that $400,000 yearly UDR. And I didn't know
Receive
how to
money
get
from
that.
Well, I think because it's behind the RV park building is why we put it there. The splash pad, that's where the splash pad.
Is that something handled by Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Alright, well, we'll have to nail that down to see if that money's gonna show up.
I don't think it's gonna show up before June 30 because the splash pad does not even.
No expenses, have any expenses incurred related to?
There's some, but I have not paid on anything yet because that's a love losing an outdoor grant, and that's one of those you can't pay anything until the grant says like you can pay it.
Wait, so,
It's kinda like the LCDBG.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell us that we had the money to finish the ball field soon?
Yes.
They may be behind because of the rain.
500,000.
Right.
And we don't have to put anything up as cash money.
Have we got that?
Not yet.
All of this in the one, is that all together? At one point,
No,
You can't be needing speed.
500,000 is a separate thing for the rec center to finish field number 4.
That's
And Wayne got that from capital outlay.
No,
when you came and spoke.
I think it's like priority five.
No money has been spent, that's not a
Somebody
surprise.
comes in and speaks and tells you something, and it might be 2 years down the road before you get it.
So, hopefully,
Yeah.
It's a priority fire, there's no guarantee it's coming anytime soon.
Spend it and then they
Still
reimburse.
need the cash. I was just trying to figure out what.
Well, like 56, 35, 15, that's the RV park itself.
So 56 will be your RV park.
And then the 561 is the RV park building.
Well, we collected 13,473 for all these.
Can we raise the rent on them, that RV park?
It was done in the last administration, I believe.
About time for an increase, isn't it?
What is it, how much is it?
It's $450 a month, $25 a day, and $125 a week, and $450 a month.
You can't stay in the high winds.
No, because really right now, I've got some up there that really shouldn't be there, I mean, because,
And we're paying.
Cause we had an issue
Sure.
with the man.
Yeah, we-
With dogs and all that.
Yeah, we got that cleaned down.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I'm not so sure if I don't have another one up there now.
I know it.
They're,
They
I
squatted.
didn't think we had anybody.
Yeah, there's somebody.
oh, but they're,
Oh, the
I've
RV
got
park
three
stayed
in there
with
right now,
Oh, okay.
and
When
they're,
it stays.
Well-
the RV park is really for people that come and go, it's
Yeah.
not meant to be a permanent, like a mobile.
Do we have a
home
camera
park.
out there?
No.
We might need to put one out there.
There is a truck that's broke down on the, right there at the booth right now.
Look at the
I
mayor.
had Rex,
I saw that truck there.
Why, Fred?
yes.
It broke down Monday night after the elementary school's little deal up there.
Well, it's still there, and it's somebody that lives in Derrick's, Arkansas.
Well, we need to call the police.
Well, I called Rex, and he ran the plate, and he couldn't get a hold of anybody. And they said that the, starter is out on the truck, I think, but he said the truck has a lot of violations on it. And he asked me, did I wanna have it towed, and I said, well, let's just wait, I'll give it till Monday, and I hate to, but, you know, somebody's broke down, have it
Well,
towed.
They were
underneath-
on mine.
They were underneath it, and there were so many people, I had to park in an RV spot to get in there. And when I was leaving, this little bitty one running right out front of me, it come out of nowhere. So it was a woman and some little kids.
But if you have a problem with somebody living there, we'll send Rex out there.
Well, they're paying rent, I mean.
Well, but if you got a problem with it, we don't.
Well,
do
I'm
that.
waiting to see, it's always a bunch of people at the
Squatters,
trailer.
that's what you call them.
And, it's not meant, that's what I tried to tell him, this is not meant for a permanent place here. This is like people coming and going, visiting family,
Right.
working in the area.
Sure.
But, you know, I've had them, we made one of them move,
Yeah.
we made two move.
Yep, sure did.
Well, it's a short-term rental.
It's supposed to be short term, and they're turning into long term.
So do they pay you upfront for like a
They
whole
have to
month?
pay, yeah.
Before you turn the electricity or water on.
Well, it's on.
Electricity, no.
If they don't pay, I send the police up there.
Water, no, all the time.
Shelley goes up there every day.
Yeah, I go by there.
To make sure that they pay.
That's right.
But, you know, we want, it's a nice car, it's right there, I don't wanna see it turn into like, you know.
I know.
Why?
I don't either. I don't either.
But they're paying their rent, so as long as they pay their rent and they act right, but you know, one of them, the dog bit somebody up there, that's
Oh,
why
my
we had to get it. And then we made
We
another
ran
one
him off.
move, because he'd been there for months and months, and moved that 18-wheeler trailer in there beside his camper.
Yeah. Yeah, we had it all cleaned out there, we'll to do it again, I guess.
But anyway, that's what your rents, and then 58 is the Civic Center, 59 is the CAC
They
building.
squatters.
Yeah.
So, so I have a question, on the CAC fund, I mean, because I'm seeing what I'm looking for, and I'm probably just not quite comprehending it, but, you know, we raised the rate on all these rent, so, can you tell me if that's mostly?
It's under the revenues, like the CAC,
Yeah, like.
it's 59, 35, 15. You see, we budgeted 10, and through March, we've made $7,450, and we're projected at $8,940 for the rent.
So the key is it's also tied to usage. So
Yes.
unfortunately, what'll happen is we have to look to see, is the usage down compared to before? I mean,
Oh, it's down.
Yeah, I see
It's
it's
down,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, it's, people have decided they don't wanna pay the higher. So they
And
don't.
right now, it's
They
been
have
full
raised.
with school functions and they get a reduced rate.
So how,
We're supposed to
why are
jump
we
in.
here?
They should
I
be.
thought everybody got the same.
Right, is that what Kim told us this morning?
Well, yeah, the schools get it's for
Yeah.
school function.
Yeah, as long as they have their chaperone, and there's no alcohol.
But we had damage at the building.
Yeah.
What?
$1,000.
How much?
He's gonna
already
fix
ordered
it.
the parts, so he's gonna fix it.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to let him do that anymore. You just can't, can't do it. You wish you could, but you can't.
Don't stick that out and bring chip in. I mean, all you gotta do is unlock two doors and they stay open.
Personally, I don't think anybody needs it but the people that are taking care of it, like my guy and whoever else, yeah.
I was up there the other night, and I started trying.
Cause I know one needs.
Or they could pay extra money for damages. Security, they secure it. You know, the security. And if they don't damage,
At one time, like Zip Allen wasn't there, I don't know how it got put back over there.
I didn't even know anything about it, 'cause they was at work.
Well, we might have- He might, me might even want to put it up there. I got one marquee.
Okay, Christine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Christine.
I'll put it in a security deposit.
Well, most of it. So as far as expenses related to the community activity fund, the expenses are projected to be about $50,000 more. We budgeted about $254,000. As of March, $277,000 has been.
You're on the last one.
He's on the last.
Last page.
On the last page, yes.
Last page.
It was studying all we were talking about.
So, I think a little bit of that has to do with an increase in utility costs.
Utility and insurance.
And insurance. And then maybe a little bit of building supplies, we'll have to look at that, to see which one items are popping up. But definitely utilities are up compared, as of March, you've met your budget on the utilities, so, we need to be conscious of that whenever we're budgeting for 24, 25. But anyway.
I don't like, I can tell you that between the utilities and the insurance.
And the expenses of maintaining.
So, there are two other funds, the one, there's a sales tax fund, which is on pages 8. That one's the one I wanna talk about, 71 is your cemetery fund, there's, not a lot of excitement there, that's on page 9.
That's kind of the,
Oh, I do realize-
Everybody dying to get in there.
And we're running out of room.
Okay, so,
you can find this passage.
sales tax revenues, budgeted about 3 million, I'm projecting about 3.4 million, so that's a good thing. We do transfer money out of sales tax mainly to the general fund to help it out, as well as covers 3 different bonds. There's a 14, 15, and 16 debt service fund, so there's enough money to cover the principal and interest that's gonna be paid. That's what those transfers are. I've worked those out, those are the exact amounts.
And the civic, we transferred to that
Oh,
one.
right.
The community activity.
Right, entertainment fund, community activity, and then also about 600,000 to the utility fund. So projected to be about, we budgeted a loss of 316,000 by the end of June. If these numbers hold true, you're actually gonna have a surplus of $17,392. That's a good swing.
That is.
Good swing. And then on the cemetery fund, which is the next page, I don't think I did a lot of work on this one. Probably didn't do any work on this one. The estimates aren't in there, that's my fault. I think I might have missed this one. So there's a lot of projection that needs to be done, but as of March, you'll see there's about $4,800. That would done me good sense.
Well, our population can't get much larger.
Okay, we'll look at that. So, not as finalized as we would like. There's a lot of expenses in there. Surveying expenses, I guess there was some expenses incurred in one budget.
Yeah, that's for the
That's
new
for that.
section.
Yeah.
New section?
We did some at the cemetery for that surveyor.
We
Really, we have to cut that or increase the space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll
We're
probably.
getting ready to do that.
Yeah,
There's lots in there.
how exciting.
All right, so this particular fund does need a little bit of work, to adjust it.
You had a hard time collecting
talking about? On,
Well, in
50-15.
twenty-three, there was about $6,400, but that's rounding.
For the cemetery?
Bad debts
For the cemetery?
for the cemetery fund.
That's when
Well,
you
you have all
collect
those where, you know, they pay $5 a plot
Cost you more
for
than that,
maintenance,
by the
and
time
if they
you
don't
get
pay
it.
it, and family members won't pay it,
$5.
you can't collect it.
That's probably why they're losing proposition.
You know what you do is you put them in a newspaper like the tax people do.
Well, so
Publicly,
Yeah.
they're done by whoever purchased the plots, and we don't know who
You
purchased
put them in a
plots,
newspaper,
you know.
like the people that don't pay their property tax.
Yeah.
Cemetery debt,
Let's give it to Central Baptist. They can-
put their names there.
I've never really seen a town own a cemetery.
Yeah.